All right, good morning, traders. Today is March 7th, 2025. Thank you for being here. Just an FYI, got an open house on Monday at 8 o'clock in the morning until 4 p.m. in the afternoon. All right, open house in the BYOB Trading Room. If you're listening to us on Cyberland, Podcast Land, Digital Land, all right, anywhere out there, you'll find the link in the description of the video, all right? Just post that into your browser and get registered, and we will send you the credentials to get into the room, all right? I want to thank everybody out there in Digital Land, Cyberland, Podcast Land. Thank you for finding the value in my content. I appreciate that. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you for the subscriptions. I love all of the love that you give me. Thank you so much. All right, my SPY pivot this morning. 574.20. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. All of the Fab 5 in daily downtrends. All made. Lower highs, lower lows. Closing under their traps, under their 17 EMAs. SPY closed, 2-hour downtrend, 10-minute uptrend. Gold and silver both in daily uptrends. Silver made a higher low and a higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the 17. Gold made a lower low and a lower high, closing under a bullish trap but over the 17. USO in a daily downtrend, really looking ugly here, people. Made a higher low and a higher high, closing under a bearish trap under the 17. UNG, big high flyer there. UNG made a lower low and a lower high, closing inside a bullish trap over the 17 US dollar index in a downtrend, closed near the 104.20 area, broke through minor support, headed down towards that valley between two peaks. So take a look at that today. SPY Max Pain for today, 582, with just a put to call ratio just over one put to each call that expires today at 4:15. All right, let's go take a look at some charts. All right, first chart. Let's look at SPY. All right, SPY. Let's look at it on the 10-minute chart. All right, 10-minute chart. You can see we got a little 10-minute uptrend coming into the close. See the yellow 3 EMA and the price candles kind of up over the 8 right here. So a little 10-minute uptrend. You just squeaked out an uptrend there at the end of the day. A lot of tight consolidation running through here. Really tight, coiling up. I think there's going to be a 10-point move today. I don't know what direction it's going in, but I'm telling you, they're really coiled up here in the pre-market, in the post-market, and in the market yesterday afternoon. Okay, a lot of wicks and tails all over the place. All right, so there's SPY. On the 10-minute, let's look at it on the 2-hour. On the 2-hour, we got ourselves, you see the yellow 3 EMA underneath the white line. All right, see the thin white line? So that's the 8 EMA. All right, all underneath the falling 17. That's the 17, those red dots. 17 EMA there. Okay, so all of that, that's a downtrend. So you got a little space in between the 3 and the 8. All right, and space between the 17 and the 8. So downtrend here on SPY on the 2-hour chart. Let's take a look at it on the daily chart. Come on over here, you look at it, you've got lower high, lower low, closing under the trap. See, the trap is the space between the 8 EMA, that's the white line, and the 3 EMA, that's the yellow line. So you get space, and the yellow is under the 8, so the faster moving average is under the slower one. All right, so that makes a space there, and then you can see we're underneath all of that. We're under the trap, and the trap is under the 18, okay? And price is under the all-time high anchored VWAP, okay? And if we look at it from the August rally, we're no longer in the upper third, so we're just neutral here, okay? Price moves up, gives it up, that's neutral. Price moves up, holds the higher ground, okay, that's bullish, hence you get a new all-time high. See that? Price moves up, holds the higher ground, bam, new all-time high for SPY. So we like it when price moves up and holds the all-time high, moves up and holds the higher ground. So there's SPY on the daily chart, just neutral here. Let's take a peek at the game plan. All right. So on the game plan, I'm going to tell you, all right, a lot of whippy action. So when I see stuff like this, underneath the tails down here, that's going to be my bearish entry. Underneath the wicks up here, that's probably going to be my bullish entry. Right now, the red erases green. See all this red? I mean, that was a barrage of like 12 candles there. So I want to see all of that red erased, all right, for me to take a green erases red up here. Okay, so green erases red over 580. So up over this. We get up over 580. That will be my bullish entry. Green erases red. Now, if I get a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP that's headed up in that direction, I will most likely trade that 10-minute uptrend as long as candles are not attached to VWAP. So if I get a clean candle over VWAP and a 10-minute uptrend where the yellow 3 EMA is on top of the white 8 EMA, all right, I will be probably going to trade that to the upside back up to this area right here. I will take my profit when I get there. All right. When it's on the other side, all right, then I'll pick it up again and trade it up for the gap fill from yesterday and look to go higher up to this high. All right. So I will probably take most of my profit off here at this high. If I even get a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP, all right, I will trade it up to this high, take most of my profit, leave a few trailers. If we manage to get on top of this, consolidate, hold, or continue moving higher, I'll look for the first red candle on a 2, 3, or 5-minute chart and jump in on one of those. All right, so bullish, green erases red over 580, bearish underneath 570, 60. 10-point swing right there. All right, so you may see a 10-minute uptrend or downtrend, not quite at the red erases green or the green erases red. I like Friday options, all right. I got a small account, so probably not going to trade the 0 DTEs until the afternoon, all right. But if I was going to trade today, starting out the beginning of the day, probably go with some 7 days till expiration or some 14 Friday option, 14 days till expiration. Friday options got more open interest. I like more liquidity. All right, $2 to $5 out of the money. All right, I want to take on some risk, but I want to pare back my risk. Okay, $2 to $5 out of the money. I won't get 100% of the move, but I may get 50 or 60 cents for every dollar that moves up. And I'm comfortable with that when I have a small account. Okay, because lately we've had some $3 10-minute candles, $4 10-minute candles, all right? That can wreck an account. Let's just look at this candle here. 574.20, 570.60. That's a $4 10-minute candle, okay? That can ruin your day, all right? And just when you think you want to get long, here comes a red one that's a $5 candle, all right? So that's why I pick $2 to $5 out of the money. I don't quite need a dollar for dollar movement, all right, or penny for penny movement, all right. I'll take the 50 cents on the dollar move if I got a small account. The idea is to manage my risk, and this is the best way for me to manage my risk is to go a little further out in my options to start out with, not till I get an established trend going, all right? Then I can pick up some 0 DTEs when they're cheap after lunch, all right? I like them after lunch. They get real cheap after lunch. A lot of that theta decay has already happened. And I like $2 to $5 out of the money, all right? because that gives me a little more, it gives me less risk. So I like $2 to $5 out of the money. So there's the SPY game plan. All right, let's hit the QQQ. We'll do the same one there. Might as well knock that out now. QQQ, SPY, QQQ's pivot, 591.30. You can see where price came down here, and came up here. See how it goes up? See the red candle goes up to that? So that's telling me that this is kind of the balance area. Although there seems to be a balance area right through here. But this is the bigger balance area for me for right now. Anyways, okay, pivot 591.30. They are really coiled up right here at 588.58, all right, which is not far off the 491.30, all right. I got a feeling, we're moving down and over to the right, moving down and holding the lower ground. It's looking like a breakdown's coming. It's looking like, not saying it's going to happen, but they're holding the lower ground, all right, like a dead cat bounce, all right. They're not ripping back to the other side. We'll see what happens here, okay? So bullish, again, see all these red candles? Like to wipe those out before I get bullish, all right? Not to say that I won't play a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. Again, I'll probably take 3/4 of my profit right here, all right? And if they manage to get on top, I'll let the trailers run, and I will look for a type of consolidation or continued movement higher. All right, so bullish entry over 498.50, bearish entry, all right, under 486.80. Again, almost a 10-point swing here. This one's got a 12-point swing. See, 498, 486. All right, so there's the QQQ game plan for me. All right, so I just showed you how I would trade it. All right, now let's go look. QQQ on the daily chart. Okay, let's move to a different chart. We like this one right here. Okay, just like everybody else today. All right, a lower high and a lower low. Closing under a trap, under a falling 17, under an all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, right here at the midpoint from the August run-up. Okay, that's just neutral. Again, you move up, you give it up, that's neutral. When you get up and hold the higher ground, okay, make a brand new all-time high. That's what we like. Move up, hold the higher ground. What happens? You tend to get a new all-time high. Not saying that always happens, but you can see the price action moves up, holds the higher ground, and traders were rewarded with a new all-time high. All right, so there you go. This is what you look for, is a move up and hold the higher ground. All right, let's take a look at FNGA. All right, new ticker. I guess this is the 2X. Well, they're still calling it the 3X. Anyways, lower low, lower high, under the trap, under the falling 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, back here at the midpoint, it's just neutral. All right, it's neutral. Move up, give it up, that's neutral. Under the uptrend line, all right? This is a hard rack down, so I don't know if they're going to get a hard bounce back up. We'll see, but this has been coming down. It's fast, now it's starting to slow down a little bit. So there's FNGA. We follow FNGA because that's 10 of the most heavily weighted securities inside QQQ and SPY. So we tend to follow that because that's what rips those two indexes around. All right, they're so heavily weighted that when they move as a pack, those 10, all right, they tend to jerk the SPY and the QQQ with it. All right, it doesn't matter what everything else is doing. When those 10 move as a pack, they will rip price. They will carry price with it. You know, the rest of the market could be falling out of bed. All right. But when those 10 are moving the other way in the bullish direction, the indexes will rise. All right. So there's FNGA. Let's take a look at IWM. They'll rise most times. Most times. More times than not, anyways. All right. IWM. Okay. IWM's bearish. All right. So IWM, just like the others, lower high, lower low, closing under the trap, under the falling 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, under the midpoint, down here in quadrant 1, that's bearish. You give it up. Okay, notice you give it up and more, that's bearish. All right? You move lower, hold the lower ground, that's bearish. Okay? Move up, making lower lows and lower highs, that's bearish. Okay? We're in a bearish environment right now. All right? Think about that. We're in a bearish environment. So be careful with your longs. All right? So there's IWM. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Diamond Dow, same deal. All right? Lower high, lower low, under the trap, under the falling 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, under the uptrend line, not in the upper third, just neutral. Okay, IWM bearish down in quadrant 1, Diamond Dow just neutral, no longer in the upper third. Okay, so there's Diamond Dow. Let's take a look at technicals, T2122. Okay, we spent the day in the oversold zone. I carried the T2122 on the 15-minute because I'm looking for what's going on. You see lower highs and lower lows. That's a bearish environment. Lower highs, lower lows, like this. That's a bearish environment. Look at price action. All right, let's pull out the drawing tools here. Cancel all that out. All right, take the price action here. See how it comes down and over. That's a bearish environment. Coming down and holding the lower ground. Okay, that's bearish. All right, very bearish here. All right, we'll see what happens. We are sitting on a little bit of support. We'll see if we can. The bulls are going to step in. They're not stepping in lately, but we'll see what happens. All right, so T2122 spent the day, a little bit of time in the seller's chop zone. I guess they felt uncomfortable there and came back to the oversold zone. Didn't even spend any time in the sell zone. Just basically moved through it. All right, so there's T2122. All right, coming down from the seller's chop zone with the lower high, producing a lower low. That's bearish. All right, that's T2122. Let's look at T2123. All right, what do we got here? Notice bearish gaps, not getting filled by the bulls. All right, that's a bearish environment. What else do we have? All right, price moves down and over to the right, okay? As opposed to moving up and holding the higher ground. That would be bullish, up and hold the higher ground. But what do you think it is when it moves down and hold the lower ground? Okay, the dead cat bounce. Right here, what do you got? That's bearish. Okay, it's a bearish environment. All right, so be careful on the longs. All right, price action underneath a falling. See, it starts here and we're over here. Okay, falling 200 SMA. All right, space between the price action candles and the falling 200 SMA. Bearish environment. T2123 15-minute chart. Let's go take a look at the 3-bar chart. 3-bar chart. This first line right here, I've got it highlighted. That is a prior all-time high. This light green thick one, that is another prior all-time high. We bounced off of this prior all-time high. You can see the V bottom, the valley, producing a lower high. So guess what happens with a lower high? Well, the bears are inspired to make a lower low. All right, so they're pushing for it. That is a bearish environment. Now, we're right on support. Okay, so even though we're not bullish, do you really want to be bearish on top of support? Probably be better to let it get through, hold the lower ground underneath it, and then play something short underneath that. Okay, we are sitting on support. This is the same area bull stepped in before and made a bounce, made a valley. All right, just recognize that if you have a short, it may not work out. Okay, so it's kind of a wait and see, right, to see what's going to happen. All right, so we'll see what happens. All right, POTUS decided he's going to delay tariffs for another 30 days. Maybe the market likes that. We don't know. Market's sitting on support. We'll see what happens right now. Okay, we're on support. We get below here, break a rubber band candle, all bets are off for the bulls. All right, I'm bearish all the way. All right, if we get through, break a rubber band candle, all right, I'm a bear. All right, I'll be a bear once that rubber band candle breaks. All right, the T2123 3 bar. Yesterday, 3 more red candle bars with space between the falling 17 and the price action. All right, or the data right through there. A lot of space underneath this 3 bar chart fading 200 SMA. A lot of distance there. Okay, we're bearish right now. All right, we start moving back up towards it, maybe not, but we're not moving up. We're not filling gaps. All right, we're holding the lower ground. All right, so we're bearish. All right, until we're not. All right, when we start breaking down trends, shooting up through the 17 and closing above it. All right, until then, probably going to be bearish. FNGA. All right, selling from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. All right, see the space, see the VWAP, that's the burnt brown line. The dots are the 17. Okay, so you can see the space between the 17, which is slanted down. And then you see the candles breaking away, running away from the VWAP on the low side. Okay, so this is bearish. All right, again, under the falling 17 on the 15, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, under the uptrend line, that's the green line right there. We're bearish. All right, we're bearish till we're not. All right, so there's FNGA. Let's take a look at a few sectors. Start off with XLE. Okay, XLE. Well, closing in the lower third, all right, that's going to be bearish, all right? XLE moves up, gives it up, all right? Also moves up, gives it up, and more. See, we're way down here. We were up in quadrant 4. Now we're down here. So it's kind of bearish right now. I don't know if we're going to get a bounce off of this support. Got a double bottom here. Maybe we find some support through here. We'll find out. There's XLE. Oil not doing too well, so that's not helping much at all. All right, anyways, you can see price action candle is a higher low and a higher high, but still closing under the trap, under the 17, under the 12-month high anchored VWAP, okay, under downtrend line 1, under downtrend line 2. All right, so under the midpoint. In the lower third, okay, that's bearish down here. Okay, if they can recover it, they'll be neutral. If they can get going up here, maybe hold the upper third, that'll be bullish. All right, but you got to get up over this all-time high anchored VWAP or this 12-month high anchored VWAP over these downtrend lines. Okay, see how price just failing every time we're up there. This is not ready yet. So there's XLE. All right, let's take a look at UNG, big high flyer here. UNG up here in quadrant 4, ready to attack the tweezer tops here. Almost ready to kind of holding ground over the plier top here. All right, so price action for yesterday. Let me make sure I get the right candle. All right, lower high, lower low, closing in a bullish trap over a rising 17, over a 12-month high anchored VWAP. Okay, up in quadrant 4, that's bullish. Kind of hot. I mean, that's really hot. I'd like to see that cool off a little bit. Last cool off didn't last long, and they produced another 12-month high right there. All right, so there's UNG, hot. USO. USO has got some problems. Okay, higher low, higher high, closing under a falling bearish trap, closing under the falling 17, closing under the 3-year high anchored VWAP, closing under the uptrend line. All right, so UNG closing in the lower third, that's bearish. All right, so, excuse me, USO, that's USO having troubles being bullish anyways. Doing very good at being bearish. Very good, all right? As far as bullish, not so much. So there's USO. Let's take a look at some precious metals. That's bearish and in a downtrend, in case you didn't know it. All right, let's take a look at GLD. GLD, another high flyer. All right, price action. I have to zoom in because I can't see. All right, right here. Okay, so we got, it's an inside day. It's lower high, higher low, closing inside a bullish trap over the 17, over the prior all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, up here in quadrant 4, that's bullish. We're just going to go ahead and move this up here now. All right, closing over the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's bullish. Let's take a look at SLV. SLV also bullish, closing in the upper third up here. Okay, higher low, higher high, closing over the bullish trap, over the 17. In the upper third, that is bullish up there. All right. And over a 12, that is a 12-year high anchored VWAP right here. Closing over the 12-year high anchored VWAP. Not the all-time high. All-time high is like 48. Okay, over the 12-year high anchored VWAP. There's silver. Let's take a look at a few sectors. SMH. All right, SMH bearish down here in lower third. Lower high, lower low, closing under the trap, under the 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP. We are bearish, giving it up and more. All right, let's take a look at XLK. XLK, neutral. Still holding the uptrend line on XLK. Price action, not impressive at all. For the bulls anyways. For the bears, it's wonderful. Lower high, lower low, closing under the trap, under the 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP. Just neutral. Moving up, giving it up. That's neutral. XLF. XLF still bullish up here in the upper third. All right. But really losing it. Definitely not moving up. Lower high, lower low, closing under a trap, under the 17, under all-time high. Look at this, 4 days ago. Earlier this week, as in Monday, Tuesday, new all-time high for XLF. Under the all-time high anchored VWAP, but still holding some of the higher ground in the upper third, so that's bullish. We should probably put the quad lines, another set of quad lines, right in here. See that move off that low? Why is it doing this? Wants to be difficult. See, so now from this higher low here, okay, you can see price action no longer holding the higher ground up here. Okay, it's actually underneath the midpoint. Just a little, FYI, since we made that higher low there. All right, just want to point that out, just in case you're looking at it. There's XLF, all right. Still slightly bullish, neutral from the standpoint of the year from the 2025 low, right here. All right, from the 2025 low, the standpoint is neutral. From, the August low of last year, we're bullish right there. There's XLF. Let's take a look at IYT. Then we'll see visit the economic package. Okay, IYT. See the habit forming here? It's like an addiction. All right? You move up, you give it up. You're neutral. You move up. Quadrant 4, that's bullish, right? And they give it up. That's neutral. And they move up again. Do it again. Quadrant 4. That's neutral. All right? They give it up again. Okay, so under the uptrend line, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, hanging on to the midpoint. All right? So we're just neutral here. Yesterday's candle, higher low, higher high, closing under a trap, under the 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP. All right, so there's IYT. Let's go see what the economic package says today. All right, just to confirm and to reiterate, Max Payne 582. That's the calls and puts that expire today. All right, a little over one put to each call that expires today. All right, so there's Max Payne for today. All right, so 582 is supposedly the Max Payne number. All right, on the earnings calendar, okay, so last night AVGO reported. I don't know where they are now, but they bounced higher. All right, so it seems to be that the market liked a little bit of what they were saying. All right, but not enough to really carry the market with it. So they made. Let's go take a look at AVGO. Just want to kick it. Just want to kick it around a little bit. AVGO. See where they are. Yeah. See, they went up to 200. They get over 200. That's a psychological number. See, they are there now. They were there last night. Let's take a look at it on the 5-minute with the pre-market on. Okay, so they were there last night. See this up here? And they're kind of flagging out here, and they're back over it. So that's bullish right there. All right, so nice pop, breaking that lower high right there. Okay, breaking that lower high, making a higher high. That's bullish. So I like that. So I don't know whether the Big Ten. All right, we're waiting for AVGO. It's a possibility to report before moving up together as a pack. I don't know. All right, or not sure what's going on, but AVGO reported well. Could we see NVIDIA had good earnings? AVGO, I think, had good earnings. All right, a lot of companies reported good earnings. Big investments in AI. All right, is that what's holding them back? These big investments in AI? Maybe. I don't know. But anyways, we could see a bounce. We are on support. Just want to make you aware of that. There's a possibility for a bounce. All right, so earnings report for today. All right, we got $3 billion on Algonquin Power and Utilities. All right, so again, nothing here that's going to move the market. Some familiar names, all right, but nothing moving the markets today. All right, on Monday, Oracle, all right, that's $451 billion. All right, they're capable of moving the markets for the day, at least in the tech sector. Okay, so they'll be reporting Monday evening. All right, let's take a look at the economic calendar. For today, we got the employment. I guess they call it the non-farm payroll. I don't know why they changed the name. Coming out at 8:30, so that's just came out. Alan, thank you, by the way, if you posted it. Pretty sure you did. And Mr. Powell's going to speak at 12:30. Rig count at 1. Consumer credit at 3. So we'll see what happens there. All right. What else is left? We did the dollar. Oh, here's the dollar. Dollar's in a downtrend, making lower highs, making lower lows, lower high, another lower low. Here was the minor support. Let's get that out. So minor support was right across the top of these two peaks. See this triple peak right here? Right there. See, we broke the minor support. We even came down and visited this valley down here. Okay, and notice we got below the valley. Now we're attacking this low right here. If we get below that, wow, we could be down here visiting the breakup candle low. If we get below this, big drop down for the breakup candle low. All right, so dollar's in a downtrend. That's good for the markets. It's not really showing, but it is good for the markets. All right, let's see. We did Max Payne. We did the earnings. We did the economic calendar. We're all set there, okay? On what do we want to look at? Let's take a look at, for those of you that trade futures, let's see what we got going on. Wow, that was a big rip. All right. Okay, so just like the game plan, all right, over this high, okay, over this, trash that out, okay, over this high right here, I want to be a bull. Under this low, I want to be a bear, okay, over that high. 10-minute trend over that high, I want to be a bull. 10-minute trend under this bodies right here, I want to be a bear. Okay? Over the high, under the low. All right? So that's for QQQ. And the same thing's going to apply for MES. Let me pull that one up. All right, this is, where's the MES? There it is. Okay, so for the MES, all right, just like the game plan, over this high, I want to be a bull. Under these lows, I want to be a bear. Okay, under the lows, 10-minute trend under the lows, a bear. 10-minute trend over the highs, a bull. Wrong highs. Wait a minute, just a minute here. Over these highs up here. Okay, so over these highs, right there. So there, see 58.20 over those highs, I want to be a bull. Actually, if you get over that wick up there, that looks good to trade it up to here. And then you get on top of that, that would look good. And underneath this, see the wick out, the tail out. Here's the tail, below the tail. Okay, under that, bear. Over that, you could be a bull. All right, right there. Over that, bull. Under that, bear. All right, that's it. I'm going to take questions in the room. All right, going to render my video. Let me see what we got for questions. Trash that out. All right, let's move down. Thanks, Alan. Question about entries. If price takes out an entry like SPY low 570.20, price moves down $1, then say recover, then later comes back down 620. Okay, is the entry still 7? No, it's the new low. It's going to be the new low because you want a scenario where red erases green. All right, so now. Red erases green. So the pullback from the new low is the new red box or price action that you want to erase, right? Yeah. Thanks, Alan. Payroll grows. Oh, less than expected. Less than expected. Hey, but it's growing as opposed to dropping. So, Alan posted a headline here. Payroll, U.S. payroll growth totals 151 in February. And then it says less than expected. Okay? But at least we're not going down. So that's pretty good, especially with all the layoffs that we had. All right, that's it. I got to wrap this up. Okay, everybody. See you guys in about an hour.